Hey, Jack,
Send it.
how many tickles will it take to make a sarlacc laugh?
Oh God.
Tentacles.
That is a brilliant one. That is the best one yet since we've started this segment. That is amazing.
That's a legit laugh. That is a genuine laugh from me. That was a good one.
I like it. Hello,
Wait a
explorers.
minute. The other ones weren't?
No, absolutely not.
Look,
Right, hello, explorers, and welcome to the only international Star Wars podcast covering almost half the world, but only 0.5% of the galaxy. I'm Jack, and as always, thank you for joining us wherever you are in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, welcome to Explore the Force, where we cover all things Star Wars. I'm Jimmy, and as always, welcome back or welcome to the show if you're new.
and last but by no means least, I'm Charlie. And if you're joining us today for episode 144, and if you get the chance, don't forget to give us a cheeky rating, a like, a share, a subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Jack, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm very well, thank you. We're getting out the winter months here in Canada at last, so things are starting to warm up, and just like the news as well, things are starting to warm up. Jimmy, how's your week been?
You ever get a song stuck in your head and you just can't get it out of your head?
Yeah.
So that song Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters.
I love that song.
They keep playing it
It's a great song
for the Olympics, and now it's stuck in my head. Gonna be golden. That song, I'm rocking out to it. So yeah, other than that, I'm good. Well, nice warm weather. I'm a little sad that we only got one snow day. I'm praying that we get like a cold snap here at the end of February, so I can get some snow and get some more days off. But other than that, I'm all right. Chuck, what about you?
Thanks, Jimmy. I'm doing really well. The weather's starting to warm up. Something's happening. There's sun, there's rain, there's snow. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm more interested in this week, because Jack seems insistent to not let me include it. Let the magic happen, my guy. Let it happen. I'm going to do this week's tarot pull. Wow. Ooh. We're moving, we're shaking, we're asking the cards, and we've pulled Justice, which is a really, really gorgeous illustration of Boba Fett on his throne. I love the art on these cards so much. So this card represents fairness, truth, accountability, law, and karmic balance. It indicates that the fairest decisions will always be made. I'm looking at you, Canada, because you were cheating in the curling at the Olympics. This isn't very fair of you. This isn't very justice. Sort it out.
Man, that guy ruined the stereotype of Canadians for the world because everyone thought Canadians were these nice, sweet people, and he's dropping F-bombs at the Olympics. And he was a cheater.
Yeah.
Innocent till proven guilty. Justice, fairness, and truth with Boba Fett. Come on. Really?
He's a changed man.
He's a changed man.
I don't buy it. Right, let's get to this week's Force Encounters.
For my ally is the Force.
Okay, this week's Force Encounters, I've actually been reading quite a bit of Star Wars trivia, getting that ready to go again for the upcoming Star Wars quizzes. Going to get that ball rolling soon as possible. I've been looking out for some shelving. Hopefully that should come sometime either this week or next, so I can start looking like a studio, more professional, like these lovely pair here. Charlie, tell us about your Force Encounter. I think you've had the best one.
Stop, because I might actually cry. I keep looking at it. Anyway, I I went to my local comic book shop and got a copy of Jar Jar #1. In fact, I got 3 copies of Jar Jar #1, just in case anyone wasn't sure about whether I was a big fan or not. Definitely am. And I made a silly little come with me on an adventure reel, and I tagged Ahmed Best, and I had a little soppy bit in the caption about it, and I really didn't think anything else of it. And lo and behold, an hour later, a notification appears on my phone that Best Ahmed blue tick. the one of the only Jar Jar Binks Keller and Beck has liked my silly little video, which means 9-year-old me hasn't. I don't know if you guys are into the concept of your inner child. My inner child is 9, Star Wars obsessed, and has been screaming for like the last 4 days. I think I cried. My hands were all shaky. I was really tearful. That happened. That happens to me. What a world.
The best effect. That's what it's known as. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy, how about you?
Yeah. So since Charlie can't speak anymore, we did as you guys would say, a cheeky little breakdown of the comic in itself. And hopefully I'm going to get some shorts out this week with some of the stuff because it is a lot to unpack. For myself, I started diving into Low Red Moon, which I had zero interest in reading. To be honest with you, like it just didn't even cross. Like I was like, I don't know why. I really liked Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws video game, and it's about ND5 and was it Jax? Oh no, Jalen and how they got their start, and then Slero. And I'm about, I don't know, 15 chapters in or 16 chapters in. It's been pretty good so far. It's a lot different than anything that I've read in Star Wars. So it's kind of neat. So I'm pleasantly surprised. And the two actors that voice actors from the video game are actually the ones reading the book. So it's kind of cool. And then Molly and I finally finished the Imperial Star Destroyer with the Cal Kestis figure, the 25th anniversary. That thing is cool and a fun build. And have you guys, I know I'm just going to keep going and going. Have you guys built a Lego with the new group system yet? The party system?
No.
So this is so cool. I don't know. No one's really talking about this, but so for that Lego set, I go to their app and I hit, building this, and then do you want to do it as a party? And you hit yes. And it can anywhere between 1 and 4 people. It will take, and basically it divides up all the builds. So you open up a bag and it's like that person's building, I'm building on separate screens as we're building and stuff, and you'll hand each other the pieces when you need them. But the crazy part is like you'll open up like different bags and things like that sometimes. So it's a little for my OCD as far as like doing things in the order. It's a little bit hectic, but it's a lot more fun because it used to be I'd build a bag, she'd build a bag. And now it's like you're building together, but you're building the same Lego, and it's a lot of fun. So people should, and I think it'd be a good way to maybe build with a young kid, maybe who's just kind of just at that level where they're just about to start doing them themselves. And you can still kind of help them out a little bit. It was a lot of fun, though. It's a fun way to build a good date night activity. So give that a check. All you got to do is have the app on your phone, both phones, and then you can have at it. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But other than
more.
So
that's a great shot.
But yeah, other than that, let's head over.
Before we go, I know it's like a day late and when this comes out, but I hope everybody had a lovely Valentine's and got to spend some quality time with the people that they love. And it sounds like doing a Lego date is incredibly cute and lovely, and I think that's so cool.
I couldn't get out the door. I had so many cards. Right, let's head over to this week's news and see what's coming out of Batu.
The people in this crowd will soon be among almost 40,000.
For those who are among the 900 with news media or promotional tickets, this sneak preview probably would be the only chance to see the Empire.
All hail the maker. George Lucas has been named the 4th greatest American innovator, just behind Jimmy Adams in the Forbes list of the top 250 living innovators for the celebration of America's 250th birthday. The quote from Forbes reads, "One of the founding fathers of the modern blockbuster, Lucas also revolutionized movie merchandising, unleashing a never-ending tsunami of Star Wars action figures and Indiana Jones lunchboxes. Through his special effects house, Industrial Light and Magic, and THX Sound outfit, he sold his tools to other movie makers." Nice. How do you feel, Jimmy?
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is. What an accolade.
I don't know anybody else on that list, but he's 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
When you think about it, Innovate has made an entire universe. It's still going strong now.
Well, he's changed movies.
He's changed movies. He was central to the development of like CG as we know it and CGI in movies. If it wasn't for him, that wouldn't have existed the way that it has and for as long as it has. Innovator is absolutely the word to apply.
Technology today as well, maybe influenced by some of the things we've seen.
That's what I'm thinking, because he didn't, if you sit there and you watch those ILM shows on Disney, they didn't sit back and just kind of get blockbustered. You know what I mean? They adapted with the times and were leading the changes. And I think that's sometimes the difference. People get, he's made billions of dollars doing something one way. Why change it? But he can't help himself. And that's pretty impressive. So if you think about it, just the fact that he didn't rest on it, he wanted bigger and better and would be able to do more, and just to bring us better stories and things like that, and be able to do, better CGI. And then that leads to the volume, and it just kind of snowballs. So yeah, I get number 4 for him. I'd be curious to know who else is on that list.
So for context, positions 1, 2, and 3 are taken up by Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates, respectively, in that order.
So super normal good human beings. That's awesome.
Yeah, super normal, good human beings. Yes.
Who's
Happy
fifth?
birthday, America.
Who's fifth?
Fifth is Jensen Huang, the guy who invented NVIDIA, the graphics cards. And
Yeah. Wow. That is some accolades. Like 4th to be like above that as well. That's incredible.
Wow. That is pretty incredible.
We don't see anybody else film related until number 29, which is Steven Spielberg.
Sweet.
Wow. Those Indiana Jones lunchboxes really pushed him up that list.
Yeah, it did. Well, speaking of toys and stuff, New York Toy Fair, which all of our friends at Rebel ScumCon are at, happened this week, and I think we've been spoiled rotten. Disney have launched their Most Wanted campaign, a year-long program that will spotlight the most sought-after merchandise inspired by both new and classic stories from the Star Wars galaxy. Johnny Fav sat down with the host Bobby Kim to talk all things Toy Box and a little tiny bit of Mandalorian and Grogu. Thanks to the lads at Fantha Tracks for compiling these quotes. Sit back and relax, folks. All right. With Star Wars, we have to execute at that tech level. So the challenge becomes, okay, we presented a cinematic experience on the small screen. We have to up our game now to the movie theater. That means taller aspect ratios for IMAX, building sets that take full advantage of that, making the visual effects of the quality and the caliber that we have to notch everything up, and then the storytelling as well. So I think that question must have been, how do you take it from the television screen to the big screen? IMAX. I mean, goodness gracious, an IMAX versus the TV. So that's pretty cool. They talk about building sets and stuff, because that was one of my biggest worry. I don't know. I think you guys are a little bit worried about it, but all being done on the volume and being kind of like blech.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that they had lots of sets built that fit the IMAX. Where are we at here? Okay, I'm gonna skip down this one more. There's some stuff that people may have gotten clues to. He's in a Razor Crest now, which is the ship that he originally had. He's in the same model. The ship Grogu has leveled up a bit. We saw that he trained with Luke, and the time has passed, so he's got a little of the Jedi influence. Then he's also an apprentice Mandalorian. So now it's time for Dad to bring him on adventures, and pretty soon there will be a few more clues out there in the world. I've been working on Star Wars now for 7 years, and we'll be able to step up to doing it as a film feels like the culmination of what I'm working on. So sounds like he's pretty excited for it. And it sounds like something is coming soon.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that, is there anything there that you think they could have pushed just before Christmas to get the Mando and Grogu going? I know we're only in February and it's not released until May, but
yeah, I was talking with somebody. I was in Kentucky yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, why would they release something so early? Because then it kind of dies on the vine a little bit." So some of those guys are convinced that it's coming out in March.
Interesting. I'm hoping it's not too little, too late.
Oh, I don't think so. I think how easy to get us in a frenzy. Like to get Star Wars fans in a frenzy, all you got to say, you don't even have to tell the truth, and people will get fired up and lose their damn minds. So give us a real trailer.
We have stories that cover that later on in the news. We have me shouting about the toys that got revealed, because there's some stuff in there that I absolutely have to show you guys. Jack, did Favreau say anything to us about a trailer? Because I think he might have done.
He might have, yeah. He said pretty soon there will be a few more clues out there in the world. So yeah, just give us a trailer.
I don't know what that means, but people have been taking it as one of those big declarations of a trailer is imminent. That's what I keep hearing. I keep seeing the word imminent being thrown around like quite threateningly.
Yeah. No, interesting. Yeah, he didn't Facebook me on that one, but he was happy for me to put that out there.
Fantastic, thank you. That's great. I read the great journalism there, Jack. Well done.
Perfect.
No, I can imagine it's extremely frustrating as a filmmaker and a creative, especially in this day and age, that anywhere you go to promote anything, whether it's related to upcoming projects or not, all you're going to get asked about is the thing that's due to come out in a couple of months. And what can you really say? Nothing. Like a lot of this is just kind of one big nothing burger. Like I get what he's saying, and it's great to hear about the kind of development from turning the Mando into like a TV series onto the big screen. I'm sure we're going to get a whole behind the scenes documentary about that, where it's like really, really tight camera shots of Dave and John like sweating over scripts, and we'll love it.
Yeah.
I want a trailer, and I want a trailer like now. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit impatient and bratty about it.
That's fair. I think the Star Wars universe now, we're craving it. You know, we've heard about it for so long. I think I'm not going to say upset, but the disappointment at the Super Bowl is what's sort of triggered it as well for people, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go on, Jimmy.
I just think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the same guy who was like begging people on the red carpet to ask him about the Mando and Grogu before it came out. If you remember that, I mean, what, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
He was at something for like Jungle or Lion King or Jungle Book, and he's like, ask me about the Mando, ask me, and people weren't like asking him about it, and it's just like, what are you doing? So it's got to be hard for him to keep a secret, but he does seem to want to do things his way.
Oh yeah.
I can only respect that. I genuinely can. Guys, I'm taking over the news for a minute, and also they were at the toy fair, which means there are toys. There are toys, and I'm excited there are toys. Let's play toys. There is a whole bunch of Mando and Grogu stuff specifically. There is a new range of like collectible Grogu minifigures. There's some brand new animatronic toys. A huge thank you to the Toy Insider for these pictures. I definitely did not steal these off of your guys' Instagram. Look at these little figures. We've got this little video of and then this is, guys, this seriously though, this is the one that I'm the most excited for. This seems to be a Grogu Furby.
Oh, look at that.
Now, 90s kids gather, come and gather, and then we can all buy one, and we can take the batteries out after half an hour because we're fed up of the noises, and then 2 days later when we put it in the back of the cupboard, it inevitably makes a noise and scares the heck out of us. Amazing. This is what I want to experience again. What do you mean a Grogu Furby?
That's going to be an absolute seller. Mark my words.
Do you guys want one? Because I'm going to get one.
Not for me. Not for me personally. Maybe not. Jimmy, what's your thoughts, buddy?
So you didn't hear any of those mean things I was saying about that because I was muted?
No.
Hell to the no! I don't want one of these possessed-looking demon groglets. Hell no! I know we're a family show, but no.
No. Well, maybe some of this will be more up your street. I will try and collate some of these pictures together into a social media post this week. We've had Lego, Hasbro, and Funko drop their previews for the upcoming Mando and Grogu lines. The hype is building. Lego have announced a new Razor Crest, a new Republic X-Wing, and Anzellan Starship, which also confirms that there will be Anzellans and Babu Frick adjacent in the film. We've got a whole new Brickheads line, which I may have to get because I do quite like the Brickheads, to be honest. They're funny, which includes Sigourney Weaver herself. Never thought that'd be a sentence I'd be saying live on air. Black Series have dropped a whole range of 6-inch figures and the miniature 3.75 figures as well, which also includes Sigourney Weaver's character in the classic Star Wars X-Wing uniform. And breathe.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Carson Teva revealed to be returning in The Mandalorian and Grogu thanks to one of those very Lego sets?
I do believe he was. Lego is at it again. But yes, we are drowning in toys. However, more importantly, contenders ready. Pod racers, are you ready? An official gameplay trailer for Star Wars Galactic Racer has been revealed, set to come out later this year. I think we can all say we are very, 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 very excited. Ben Quadrinos is officially returning, which is a Star Wars deep cut I didn't know I wanted, but here we are. We're finally going back to Jakku. Yes. Might have to change my username now on Instagram. I thought this also might be a chance to mention I have been considering starting an Explore the Force Twitch channel if anybody would be remotely interested in that. Once I get the rest of all of this set up, and you guys can watch me be terrible at this game, and I might also even consider playing the N64 Star Wars Racer game because that's
Yes.
where it all started, and I'm equally as dreadful at that. So
Do it.
stay tuned.
The game looks awesome, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Why? There's still no release date though.
No.
Which is kind of frustrating. And then we still have heard anything more about the my gosh, why can't I think of the name of it? The turn-based game. I'm blanking on the turn-based game, but
Hunters?
No, it's not Hunters. Hunters is that one that got like spent like 19 years in production, then came out, and then they just said, "All right, we're done with it."
Yeah,
But,
I know what you're on about. But yeah.
But anyways, and what's the obsession with Ben Quadraneros? Like, I mean, he's funny. I mean, the character, I don't know. People are hyping this up a little bit more. Like,
He's sort of reached like meme status amongst Star Wars fans. That's kind of the level it's achieved. Like, I feel terrible saying this because we are a family show and might have to be. The concept of glop shittos in Star Wars is reaching its peak once again, and like Ben Quadrinos is the kind of the head of that group. I feel like I have a couple of friends who are like weirdly obsessed with him as a character, but then I'm sat here like this, so who am I to judge, you know?
At least your character is in more than one movie for more than 5 seconds.
That's the fun of it, though. The fact that he's got lore, he's got backstory. He'll have even more that they're adding to this game for the sake of it. And just the fact that I think Star Wars has such a history of giving those non-existent 2-second characters the most intricate stories you've ever seen.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Star
fair.
Wars.
That's fair. I just maybe I'll buy into it after the pod racing game.
Maybe.
Yeah, what like a release date on that game though? We haven't heard anything, so that's kind of bonkers.
I'm with you on that.
This news story comes straight from the pages of Production Weekly, an industry publication that details upcoming projects, and included somewhere in the small print, eagle-eyed Star Wars fans have spotted not only Mandalorian 4, but also Skeleton Crew 2. Some fans are saying this means season 2 of the swashbuckling adventure has been confirmed. Others, like our very own mailman, were much more suspicious. Yes, he what it was, he's like, lies. He was doing his best Saw Gerrera. Lies.
Amazing. Mike was straight in there. I don't believe it. And we went, yes, Mike.
Jack, you want to jump back on that? I don't believe Skeleton Crew's coming out again. Because last time you thought
I think it's coming out this time. I'm going the opposite way.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Say no.
Nah, it'll be coming. But I do have a bit of a debunk to go on with. So there's been some rumors via news site Bleeding Cool of an upcoming Marvel and Star Wars crossover comic written by diversive writer Mark Miller, Kingsman and Kick-Ass writer. However, the Hollywood Reporter were quick to squash this flat, saying, and in another example of the internet being stupid, a rumor spread about a Star Wars / Marvel / Avengers crossover comic book to be written by Love Him or Hate Him author Mark Miller. It was like an Alderaan exploded all over again. In any case, we're hearing it's not true, so have some blue milk cookies. Thank you for that, and carry on reading your High Republic novelizations, people.
Thank goodness. That sounded like the dumbest thing. I saw that come through, and I almost messaged you guys and like, what the blank is this? I was like, no way, that's so dumb. I don't want that. I'm usually for whatever and giving things a chance, but this sounds kind of insane.
Yeah, it does. And I'm glad someone's come out and just gone, no, not happening, done, move on.
What I found particularly funny was the way various news pages chose to kind of visualize this. Some of them I saw where it was like Captain America and Luke Skywalker side by side, and then some of them were like Kylo Ren and Iron Man. And I was like, guys, right, we need to pick. We can't just say Star Wars and Marvel because that's two, as you can see behind me, that's two very big things.
Oh, and I love both, but together.
I love both, but together, no.
That'd be kind of a fun topic sometime, though, about like who's like, like Luke and Captain America, like who kind of pairs up.
I feel like it's been done.
Has it? Not by us.
Not by me. You say this, and I didn't get to be included in any of the fun stuff. So don't you start.
We haven't done this yet, so.
Okay.
No, I don't mean as an episode, but I mean maybe for real. I think there's been an adaptation before.
I think there may have been some Star Wars / Marvel character crossover because obviously Marvel Comics owns the Star Wars comics. So there must have been something somewhere, but
maybe. Who knows?
I know. Thank you, Hollywood Reporter, for that absolutely scathing reply. I felt very humbled as a Star Wars fan. They said, sit down and shut up.
Words to that effect.
Yes.
Well, our last little bit of news is, again, we're back on the Mando and Grogu because I saw this pop up, but I haven't seen that many people speaking about it. So, according to Collider and the California Film Commission, The Mandalorian and Grogu is the lowest budget Star Wars movie ever made by Disney. The production's total cost was a cool $166.4 million. Now, for comparison, A New Hope's total production cost way back when was $11 million.
It's insane.
Most of which was scraped and funded by George and putting himself in debt, bless him. And The Force Awakens comes in at over 20 times that at $245 million. Now, I want to know, how does this make you guys feel? Do we think Mando and Grogu should have been given that big bucks treatment? Do we think Star Wars needs to return to its like low budget roots? Because I'm not going to lie.
That's a good shout.
Go ahead, Chuck.
No, I was going to say, I'm going to be honest. Not that I am a production or filmmaking expert by any stretch of the imagination. And every time I talk about stuff like this, I think about The Blair Witch, which was done on like a shoestring with like borrowed cameras and became one of the biggest grossing like horror films.
People were so stupid they thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just, come on.
That was done on like $20 and a sneeze.
I just real.
Stupid people.
But...
I was a young kid.
Listen, I thought it was real as well. Okay, so don't even stress. And I was a teenager, so.
Oh my gosh.
No, what do you mean this only cost $166.4 million? Is that because we've already got all of the CG assets in the folder from season 3? Like,
yeah, I mean, to make Star Wars A New Hope today would have cost almost $59 million. That's what the inflation is. So it's still $100 million less than this budgeted film. I have to say this, and again, none of us are experts in this area. This is all, the more we do this and the more information we get, and I listen to podcasts that these people are in the business sometimes, and you sit there and you look at the movie The Creator, and have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
The one that Gareth Edwards made? It's called The Creator.
Yeah.
That movie only costs like $80 million to make, and it looks as good as anything Marvel and Disney have done.
Yeah.
But they also say that Gareth does this great job where he knows exactly what he wants to do. There's no wasting time. The story's done. The shots are planned. I just feel like they don't go into this with a good plan sometimes, and they just blow these budgets. And and then we all suffer for it because the ticket prices and merchandising and the park tickets go up. So I'll be curious if this movie looks good at $166.4 million, then somebody needs to check like just what are they spending this money on? Is this because there's no big time? I mean, I don't say big time stars, but Sigourney Weaver's not getting $50 million a movie, like Marvel cast. So
no.
Is that the reason? Like, I mean, we love Brendan Wayne and Lateef and those guys on this show, but they're not, they don't get $25 million a movie. So is that why this is so low? And if it's so low that way, then screw famous people. Go find some fools off the street and put them in some Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start out having to pay your whole cast a couple $100 million, I mean, right there. I mean, think about like, I know we don't have any numbers on Starfighter yet, but I guarantee you it's not $166 million. That's probably what the 4 main people made. if not more. You know what I mean? Like combined. Like I bet you that's
Yeah.
their. So I don't know. I wouldn't be too worried yet, but I'm still concerned. So we'll see, though.
I think Charlie's got a good point though, where they've already got a lot of the stuff from previous seasons. They're not having to make a lot of new stuff. Whereas, like you're saying there with Starfighter, maybe it's because they're going to all these exotic locations, etc. Yes, they've got Ryan Reynolds, so that's obviously going to massively break the bank as well. But
Gosling.
Yeah, Gosling, not.
I always do the same thing. I always say Gosling and Reynolds, but they're nothing alike.
They're not, are they?
His name. One's a really good actor, and one just plays the same character and everything.
I really hope. boom, boom. I really hope that we don't get Ryan Reynolds in Star Wars. I know that's completely irrelevant to this discussion, but I feel like I need to put it out there into the ether. Please don't put him in Star Wars.
You say that, and there's new people that can make that or break that. So should we head over to the main show and talk about those people?
Oh,
why not?
Let's do it.
A 10 out of 10 segue from Jimmy there. Now, our discussion topic for this week's show is, of course, a drum roll, please. As of the 18th of March, that was a crap drum roll.
Can you do it one more time for all the listeners and viewers? Can you do one more drum roll? Do it.
Our discussion topic for this week is, of course,
sorry, folks. She's having a meltdown.
That's it. We've had a shocker. We've had a shocker today.
Charlie.
Our discussion. I was really hoping that you guys would do the drum roll, so I wouldn't just be left in silence. Our discussion.
Oh God, she's off again. Good luck to whoever's editing this.
I'm making Charlie do this one.
No, mate. You're doing this one. Our discussion topic for this week's show is, of course, as of the 18th of March, the Walt Disney Company will be under brand new leadership, marking an end to the era of the two Bobs. Why did I write it down like that in the script? Goodbye, farewell, and best wishes to Bob Iger, and hello to Josh D'Amaro and Dana Walden.
Yeah, these key leadership changes. D'Amaro, who is currently chairman of Disney Experiences, an executive role responsible for all Disney's theme park travel, including its cruise lines, global merchandise, publishing, games, and being part of the transformation of Disney IP into product and attractions. Wow, imagine that day. Is now the new CEO of Walt Disney Company.
Dana Walden was the co-chairman to Disney Entertainment, Streaming and TV Studios, and has been promoted to the president and chief creative officer, which is now a new enterprise-wide role.
So Josh D'Amaro is often considered a powerhouse of the Disney Corporation. He is a 28-year veteran of the company and has led Disney's largest company segment at over $36 billion in revenue. I'm sure you guys have heard me say before that Disney always makes the majority of its money through its parks. Disney is a place company first. It is a enterprise in that sense first before it has ever been a movie studio. And with Josh at the helm, this is clearly very much their big money maker.
Yeah. He's responsible for many of the iconic additions to Disney parks, including Galaxy's Edge, Marvel, and the new Frozen Land set to open later this year. He specializes in creative storytelling and operational execution at the highest standard and is clearly a very multi-talented man. Disney said in their official leadership statement that they want to continue that focus and emphasis being on storytelling-driven experiences, franchise growth, and global park expansion. The only way is up.
Indeed. And Dana also can't be forgotten in all of this. She is not only the first person, but the first woman to hold this brand new role within Disney, allowing her creative leadership across the whole company and bringing together everything that we know makes up the modern day Disney franchise. So, Dana began working for 21st Century Fox in the 1990s, and she became chairman of the Fox Television Group and continued leading even after Disney's acquisition of Fox in 2019. So, people are saying that Josh is a veteran of the company. So is Dana. She has been here. She has been here through the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs. Dana is responsible for some of the most successful television shows in the last 2 years, including in the last 2 decades, even, including Modern Family, This Is Us, Empire, and Glee. She is. Glee. She is widely renowned as one of the most powerful TV executives in Hollywood, excelling at talent relations, the ability to unify broadcasting, cable, and streaming services, and she represents a creative and content, excuse me, I'm using this term again, powerhouse within Disney.
This parent is a real callback to the early Disney eras that used a dual pillar leadership structure, an operational CEO with a chief creative partner. Amaro covers operations, experiences, and global business, and Walden covers creative storytelling and the ecosystem of TV and streaming.
Just real quick before we dive into our main stuff, is he the same guy who also is responsible for the Halcyon? Just saying. So now that we've filled our brains with more information than may be needed, let's dive into this, shall we? So our first question for y'all, for yous guys, depending on what part, where he's from. Bob Iger will be maintaining the role as senior advisor and board member until December the 31st. How much influence we have during this transition year? So he's not going to leave right away. And this has happened before. I don't know. I sent you guys that article in the LA, and I sound really pompous when I say this. I sent you guys an article in the LA Times. I hope you had a chance to read it. I had it with my morning coffee and crumpets. So that's my posh voice. One day.
No one has crumpets in the morning.
I don't know what the hell a crumpet is. So, anyways, it sounded right. It sounded right. Don't at me, people from England. All right. He did this once before, and the guy who was supposed to take his place in 2015 quit because he was so annoyed with Bob that he just left. So that makes me a little bit nervous, if I'm being honest, because are they going to be able to do anything while he's like hovering over them?
Well, to expand on your point, Jimmy, in this article from the LA Times, it says the last time the LA Times. The last time Chief Executive Bob Iger handed over the reins, the plan did indeed backfire. Executives revolted. His replacement got bounced, and Iger returned to the lead for another 4 years. It's reminding me of a certain somebody's presidential campaign. Sorry. I really, really hope that if they've gone to all of this effort to make brand new positions to kind of really shift the ideas of what you would think a Disney CEO should be and would be, and making such a huge shift from the energy that both Iger and Chapek brought, I really, really hope this one sticks. Listen, I'm not Bob Iger's biggest fan. I'm going to be brutally honest. I dislike quite a lot of the choices that he made. I think Kathleen Kennedy got blamed for a lot of choices that were actually his oversight. And yeah, I don't know. Jack, what do you think?
To be honest, like, I'm one of these Star Wars fans that I get who people are and what they do, etc. But at the same time, I don't care. As long as Star Wars is good, I don't care who does it. And like, I really don't care. I just want good Star Wars stuff. I don't care who it is, what they're doing, who's in charge of what on what day. Just give me what I want. I'm a paying customer at the end of the day. That's like the be all and end all for me. But yeah, and then speaking from an organization where we have a lot of people that change, people come in and things do not stay the same. That's just how it is. Hopefully it doesn't change everything straight away, because there's obviously a structure that's happened and processes that happen. So yes, there'll be a little bit of disruption if he does take over, and maybe the transition might not be as seamless as he's hoping, or I don't know. It's going to be a rocky year or so, I think.
I'm a little bit nervous about all the change with this. I mean, you got 2 new people in charge of Disney. Great people, both of them. I mean, either one becoming president's fine, whatever. I don't care. But then you have 2 new people at Lucasfilm. I just feel like there's a lot of, and who knows what's going to happen in other divisions. We'll get into some of that a little bit later. So, anyways, I just think it's going to be, like Jack said, it might be a bit of a rocky year for Star Wars. What's going to get done? Are they all going to be afraid to be the person that takes the first big leap? Although, it looks like Dana, like she pulled some, like Modern Family was pretty edgy when it came out. You know what I mean? Like, people were not super thrilled with some of the characters, but they turn out, I mean, obviously, like, I think they're a hilarious show, but, and what, it run for like forever. So anyways, like, she's not afraid to take those chances. Hopefully this makes them a little bit more eager. But what should Disney's top priority be under this new leadership? Streaming, movies, parks? Like, can they do it all?
I think that's the thing they need to sit down and discuss, isn't it?
This feeds into a point I wanted to make anyway. We mentioned earlier in the introduction to this section about how Disney is returning to kind of this like 2-pillar business structure. And obviously, if people know their Disney history, you know that Disney was founded in 1923 by Walt and Roy Disney. It was them two running it for a long period of time. And after Walt and Roy's death, it was split between Don Tatum and Card Walker, who focused on specifically the building of Disney World. This was in like up to the 60s and the 80s. And then up to 2004, you had the Eisner era, which was like the Disney animation renaissance. The parks were booming. I was there. I was in the thick of it. The films were insane. We had everything from The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, you name it, it was there, and it was thriving. The Eisner era is often considered like Disney's quote unquote peak era. Then you had the Iger expansion, which covered 2005 to about 2020, which is when we had that swapping back between Iger and Chapek. Iger is the reason we ended up with Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, 21st Century Fox, where we ended up kind of, this monopoly was created of Disney product. And now I think I'm glad to see it return to the hands of the people who started it not started it in the first place, but people with the same ethos as the people who started it. It was about the parks. It was a way to merchandise and sell and promote the movies, because it was about getting people into the parks and getting to experience Disney magic. I think there needs to be more of that. The Helicon ship is a perfect example of something that could have worked but just didn't, and I feel like this is maybe what they need. I hope they prioritize the parks need an overhaul, because I should not have to put, like, hypothetically, my hypothetical family in debt to be able to go to a Disney park at the moment. That is expensive.
100% agree. They've got to find some way of getting people to come back to these parks, and I think this all ties into the news where they're rejigging the park around with the OT stuff, the prequel stuff, sequel stuff, etc. Point being, they've got to find longevity, and I think that's what they're doing with the park. So it does kind of make sense. Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm just looking up some numbers here. So on that next question, but forgive me for a second, but I think that's why we have the split, is that we can focus on 2 different things. I will be curious though, and this is the same thing with Filoni and Lin-Wen, is that it says president by Filoni's name and co-president by Lin-Wen's name. So, you may have Dana in this new rule, and I want to get into that a little bit. I think it's kind of funny, some of the stuff from that article, but you got Josh, who is this parks guy. I mean, I think he even worked in the parks. Like, he started as an employee in the parks, you know what I mean? So he's got this love, but he also has, a flair for storytelling and things like that. That makes me happy, because he has an imagination, and he puts it to work. And these parks, say what you want, I mean, they've been amazing. I mean, Galaxy's Edge and the Marvel thing, I'm sure, and I'm sure that the idea that, I think they're a little late on bringing Frozen into it, but I'm sure that'll be a hit. So I feel like that's why we have the split, so we can focus on things. We can focus on 2 different things. Dana can kind of stay in that movie. She could probably run streaming and movies, and he can handle the parks, and then they can kind of work together. And I'm telling you, that it could be amazing for and so But I do think it comes down to who gets that final say, though. Like, if can he shut her down, and then is that all
Yeah.
hell going to break loose, or so something to think about moving down. But maybe these two have a beautiful working relationship, and
Yeah.
they really, what I mean, like, and it happens. Like, I mean, I was the head coach for 15 years, but I never made a move without my assistant coach's input, what they believed, and sometimes even if the multiple of them outweighed, like, thought something different than I did, I'd go with what they had after they've earned that respect. So, you know, it can happen. So, hopefully they work well together, and then all those areas can just explode for
flourish.
fans.
It's good because it spreads the workload as well. It obviously, we know it can't be easy to work.
Yeah, I don't know. The next question is, why do we think Disney chose a parks executive instead of the filming or streaming leader? And I think I may have just answered that by accident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think you did. That's perfect.
I want to read
Yeah.
some numbers real quick. And I
Mhm.
think this is why, though, too. Walt Disney Florida estimated to make $36 million a day at the theme parks. Magic Kingdom estimated to bring in $13 million daily. Disney resorts in California, roughly $12 million per day. Operating costs just over $10 billion annually. Keep the
Wow.
parks up and running. Where is it at? Attendance is up to 60,000 visitors per park. So I think that's why you have a parks guy in charge. If they're making 36 million just from Walt Disney Florida, $36 million a day, no matter how big a movie makes $1 billion, it doesn't matter. Like, that's great, but
Yeah.
to sustain it. So, I mean, I think that, and what I just said kind of accidentally answered those questions, but I just want to give you guys those numbers, and then you can be like,
No, I 100% agree. I think it's very clear why they've shifted back to a park-led exec. I think I read some stuff, heard some various quotes from previous like park employees who've worked under Josh, and how lovely and genuine and kind he is, and creative and invested and excited. I think I've even seen people compare his energy to that of like Walt's. Like, it's all about our experience as consumers, and not necessarily in that weirdly intense capitalist way that I think Disney is quite guilty of these days. I mean,
yes,
obviously, it was
good
very
point.
merchandise heavy when I went as a kid. One day I'll show you guys my big JC Penney bag that's got all of my stuff in from my times of going to the States. But it feels more now, whereas when I was a kid, it felt like it was there for me to experience, not just buy and purchase. Like, there was more geared towards that. And I mean, 36 million in a day, that doesn't include California, that doesn't include Paris, that doesn't include Tokyo, that doesn't include Shanghai, that doesn't include the cruise lines, the flights, the even the Disney stores that are still clinging on for dear life on the British High Street. I think there's only about 3 of them left now.
36 million a day.
How many assistants do you think that man has? Josh will have, he's probably gonna have a small army of assistants to help him with all that
That man
stuff.
knows how to delegate.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like a Mando film a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bonkers. Will this leadership change the focus of Disney away from its films and TV and more towards its parks?
I'm hoping for balance. I'm genuinely hoping that these two people are, well, they seemingly are, and are spoken about as they are, qualified and experienced enough to make that balance and make it feel like both of these things that are so kind of integral to Disney and what it stands for as a company and has always tried to stand for. Give me that, and give me that in balance.
Yeah,
Please. I think that's all I'm asking for.
I think it's a smart move, especially like that 36 mil a day. Excuse me. I think it does bring that balance if films do flop or things don't quite work out the way Disney thought. They've got that 36 million buffer.
Yeah.
Well,
Jeez.
yeah, and I think the more you add to the parks, and you get people there, and I hope they find a way to bring the price down in the States. Just the fact that
Just a fraction.
just like the way they're talking about, you can fly to Japan and go there for cheaper is insane to me. Like, I shouldn't have to fly for 13 hours, go to a country that, that, I mean, I love Japan. Don't get me wrong. Like, I will definitely go back. I mean, 100%, like, but I shouldn't have to. I remember Molly and I were planning a trip to Disney. Like, we're just like, let's just go to Disney. Like, it'll be so much fun, at Galaxy's Edge. And then we started racking up the numbers. There's just 2 adults.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, what about if we flew to and went to like Lake Como in Italy or something instead? And it was like a third the price,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that I want these experiences. It's amazing, but you gotta
No,
make it
100%.
affordable for people to go. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that they're able to be successful there, be successful everywhere else, and maybe either freeze the prices or do something that, and if this guy is really, if Josh really is like, I was talking to him like, hey, if Josh, if he's really
Josh.
like, as great as he sounds, and it's cool, like, we'll find out about this guy, like, like everyone liked Bob the first time, but then the second time he came back on the helm, people weren't real thrilled with him, it seems like. And then, as more stuff comes out, we're kind of like, oh, maybe this guy was a jerk. But I think the second time, though, was more about saving Disney than it was anything else. But
Yeah.
if Josh is really this way and he's really excited for that and making these parks experiences and things like that, that could be great for Disney all around, because that starts making more money, and then he's going to have more to invest in movies and things like that as well. And he'll be thinking this way too: what movie can I add to as a park, or what franchise can we make parks out of, or how can I make this movie into this? So he'll be able to sit there and he'll be able to look at what Dana is bringing to the table and say, hey, like, what can we do with this after it's a movie? So I think there's a lot of potential there for people like Josh and Dana to be working together. And then, and I know our focus is Star Wars, obviously, on this show, but I mean, you have to think about Marvel and Frozen and everything from Fox and stuff like that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of potential. So
Yeah.
Huge amounts of potential. I think this coming at the same time as the Star Wars changeover, I feel like everything's been very carefully crafted to sort of break apart and then build itself back together again in a way that feels kind of really fresh and really new. And I'm genuinely excited. It's really, really nice to see kind of the gender split be more even across the departments. That's always encouraging to see. That's as it should be. Yeah.
I
Let's
think
go for, like, I'm willing to give them like a good like couple of years and be like, how is this gonna go? How is this gonna play out?
it'll be interesting. Like, that's just like something like when Taylor had to take time away from Explore the Force because she's living in her life's a zoo, literally. Jack and I are both like, well, we've got two guys. Like, we're kind of, sometimes we think differently, but a lot of times we're both kind of like, so to have that different point of view, and hopefully it's not one of those places where like she feels like her and Linwin feel like they have to like prove themselves. I feel like they've already proven themselves over the
No,
last
they have
like 20
definitely
years.
proved themselves.
I think it's phenomenal. There was some stuff I was a little bit reading that article. They talked about when one guy didn't get the job, he left, and it like blew up that division, and like they were scrambling to get new people. And so I do think, like you said, Charlie, like they've done this in a way, because even on the Lucasfilm side of things, when they promoted Linwin and Dave, there was actually other promotions of people who were kind of vying for that position. They all kind of got moved up as well. Like, hey, we respect and appreciate and we value what you're doing for us, which is really cool. And so it looks like they kind of did the same thing with Dana, knowing like, man, we've got these two great candidates, and it does sound like the focus should be on the parks in the grand scheme of things on a day-to-day basis, the parks and all that's where the money's coming in. But they didn't just throw her to the side, and they weren't willing to lose her. And that says a lot, I think, because if they thought, well, we can do this without her, and then she survived the takeover of Fox, I mean, that's huge. So that really makes me excited for what she's going to be capable of, in the respect that they must have for her and for Josh. And then you hear employees talking about them that way. I'm here for it. So I do have a fun question for you guys, though. Are you guys ready for a fun question?
Send it.
Yes.
What would you add to the Disney parks if you were Joshy boy, Joshy Boo Boo Bear? What were you going to add to the park? That's going to be his new nickname on this show, Joshy Boo Boo Bear.
I'm going to put a little bow on his picture on our social media post.
What's the budget?
Hey, it's your choice, man. You can spend some money.
popular opinion, I'd build an airport not too far away, but where you could just go from the airport straight to the park. That's what I'd build. That's what I'd do.
That's really smart, actually.
A
Direct
themed
flights to.
airport. Yeah.
Thinking outside the box.
Wow.
What do you
They
mean? Wow.
probably
Come on, I'm
have
not just a
room
pretty
for-
face, am I?
I was
Although
going to say,
they,
you're not just a pretty face.
yeah, I mean, because if you've ever been down to Florida or California, there's no planes flying over because they have that as a restricted airspace, so they don't
Yes.
ruin the. So if you could, yeah, they could be done though, or even that's a really good idea, Jack. Because it's like an hour if you fly into Orlando or something like that. It's like an hour to get to Disney or something. I can't remember exactly. Anaheim's kind of rough too.
But Jack, if that was the case, then you deprive people of the best part of going to Florida, which is driving down the I-95 and seeing the absolute hellscape that is the tourist shops. What
there
do
you
you mean
go.
you don't want to see the giant paper mache mermaid or giraffe or wizard?
Yeah,
What
I think
about
an
you, Chuck?
airport.
What are you going to add, Chuck?
Oh, this is a difficult one. See, all of the things that I would want to add that I'm really into and obsessed with, there's already Marvel Land, there is already Star Wars Land. And at one point, if you'd have asked me, I'd have most likely said, I'd love to do like a themed hotel, like a themed stayover experience.
Godspeed.
Godspeed indeed. Alas, maybe that might not be my option. Oh man. What would see? I'm going to be really,
You
really
wrote
honest
this
here.
question, Charlie. You should have been prepared to answer it.
What what would I add to the Disney parks? I would add the fast track pass system back again. That's what I would add.
All right. I'm sitting here thinking and stalling with you two. I would add like an X-Wing fighter virtual kind of storyline, like something where you're like, you get to climb inside of X-Wing and it like takes you and then it shoots off, and then you get to go out and fly.
Yeah.
Like that.
Be a squadron.
Yeah, like a squadron kind of game. Like imagine that experience where you're up, and I know it would be limited. It'd kind of be like what is that one? A Bounty, the Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
But just think about, I don't know what the logistics are of getting helmets on people and doing all that kind of stuff, but like I remember, and this is going to be terrible, people. So when I was in the Army, I was a driver for the Bradley fighting vehicle, right? It's just, you can look it up. It's pretty fun. But we'd all be lined up, kind of like, battleships and all this stuff. And they'd call us all of a sudden, like we had to go get ready. And it would just be a drop of the hat. We wouldn't know it was coming. We'd be running through our vehicles if we were someplace else or doing something else. And you'd be running and climbing up on top of the Bradley. You'd be putting your CBC helmet on. Then you'd reach up and you'd shut that hatch. And I mean, every single time I thought to myself, I'm Luke freaking Skywalker, baby. And I close that hatch and get ready to go. And just that excitement. Imagine getting to do that at a park. Like, you could dress up like a X-Wing pilot or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
That'd be a good shout. Go into like a briefing room, like in Yavin 4.
Yes.
And they're like, get your pilot suits on, U6. You could get ready to go.
And you could bounce it around like the 3 movies where you had to go into, 2 Death Stars or Ilum. Like it could rotate, so like you could get a different story. But you come in there, you have that briefing, and then you could have someone that looks like General Dodonna or whatever, and Mon Mothma, and she could be talking just like this. Many Bothans died. This information.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Actually, I have thought about what I would add to the Disney parks. It's been so long since I've been, this might actually even be a thing by now. I would put in like not like Central Park size, but this is what it's making me think of, but like a proper park that has like trees and green spaces, and you can have proper picnics, and then there are character interactions there, and there's like live music performances, and there's like at nighttime everybody could bring like their blankets, and they could be like a big projection screen that's put up, and you could watch Disney films. And that's something we have a lot in the UK, even in like industrialized and urbanized areas. Like in London, you'll find like 2 blocks of like houses, the British Museum, and then like 3 parks to go and sit in. There's green spaces and nature connected to everywhere that's busy and loud. And I know it would be huge, and there would probably have to be some kind of ticketing system to make sure that it wasn't absolutely rammed. But I just think that could be really lovely.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, I think that.
I mean, they do their best to keep you standing and moving.
Exactly, and I struggle with that as somebody who likes to sit a lot.
Okay, so here's the last question for you guys. What would you be the first thing you would do if you got to be Disney CEO for a day and they couldn't undo it? What are you going to do as the CEO of Disney and you're working with Dana and Josh and you? What are you doing? Charlie, you look like you had an answer already.
I do have an answer. I would go into the archives and I would find all of the original versions of the iconic Disney films. I'm talking Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. And then I would re-release everything in cinemas and I would remove all of that like pre-production processing that they've done on like Disney Plus and the new updated versions that get released on Blu-ray and DVD, where they have purified it and modernized it to the point where you can't see any of the artist original work on it. And it is one of the things about like the modernization of Disney that breaks my heart. Like I can't watch Cinderella anymore because it just looks so ugly. It's so wrong and they've removed so much of that purity. So I would go digging in the archives and be like, right, releasing this, we're releasing this, we're having a massive OG Disney nostalgia time.
That's
That
what I'm
would be
afraid
the
about
first thing
that
that I would do.
re-release of A New Hope. They're going to do that to it. They're going to make it too pretty. I want the grainy texture.
I want it to be ugly, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Jackie boy? What are you going to do as Disney CEO?
Got all the great ideas, mate. I would absolutely utilize this 36 million a day, which we'll keep going on about. I would absolutely throw the entire book, everything I've got, to rehire George Lucas.
Whoa.
Straight out there.
Whoa.
George, I'm coming for you. That'd be the first thing I'd say.
And I
want
know
you back,
you do
George.
it as well. I want you back.
I just don't know if I agree with, like, I just don't. I mean, that's a cool idea. I just think, one, he's way past his prime as far as I think.
Shots fired.
And if you look at, okay, I would say yes to you, Jack, if he had a team that was allowed to tell him no. And someone else wrote his dialogue.
Yes. Yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, because his idea for 7, 8, and 9, right? Is that the ones? Yeah, 7, 8, and 9 were like some weird, like going into the midichlorians, like going into this like quantum mania type idea that, you know, so I mean, that would be, I mean, that's pretty trippy. What would I do as CEO? I'd get some damn Star Wars movies on the docket. I'd start a new trilogy that I want to see. I'd get all these movies. I'd get them streamlined. I'd get them ready. I'm like, this is when they're going to release. I would do a lot in 24 hours with when it came to the movies and getting things ready to go and having a set, maybe one movie or 2 movies every year and a half. I think I would like to get that set up. And I would, here's my focus though, the High Republic. The big adult books would be movies. The middle books, the middle grade books would be television series to kind of fill in those gaps in between the movies. And then we'd have some animation that could be the young kids' stories. And we would set the world on fire with the High Republic.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the Young Jedi Adventures has started to really get to a lot of people with things that have been going on in the episodes in the season. So it's clearly had quite a profound effect.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would do, I guess.
Yeah,
fun
for sure.
We shall
Interesting.
see.
Any final remarks on this week's episode, guys?
I'm excited for all this change. I think that, I mean, a lot of times it's scary, but I think that this, on both levels, at the top and down at Lucasfilm at the top, I think that once they get rolling and get Bob out, I do think that once Bob's out of the picture, I think it'll be a little bit easier because, you know, it's just like anyone, when your boss is watching you, it makes you nervous no matter what. Like, what was he going to, you know what I mean? And you can just kind of, so I think when Bob's out of the picture, I think that crew can start really running with things.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting.
Totally agree. Get out of here, Bob.
Get out of here, Bob. Go retire for a 4th time.
Get.
Cool. Right. If you have any questions or just want your voice heard, then DM us on our socials or send us an email or voice note at exploretheforce@gmail.com. And remember to like this episode, share it with your Star Wars friends and family, and to follow us on our social media platforms. All you have to do is search Explore the Force, all one word. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and head over to exploretheforce.com.
Also, if you want to show your support and spread the word around by image as well as voice, then head on over to Redbubble, search Explore the Force, where you can purchase unique merchandise. And as always, a massive thank you to everyone interacting with us via our social media. You guys keep this podcast amazing.
Yes. Folks, let us know how you would answer those last two questions. What would you do to the parks? What would you do as a CEO for a day? We'd love to hear that. And finally, you've been listening or watching Explore the Force, and we have spoken. See y'all next week.